Good evening, everyone. Apopka High School and Lake Highland Prep welcome you to the Wang Family Gymnasium for Game 6 of the 15th Annual Earl Graham Metro vs. Florida Challenge, presented by Advent Health, Burn Van Orlando, and St. Germain Chiropractic. Please welcome our guests wearing the orange jerseys, visitors on the scoreboard. From Mount Dora High School, they are the Hurricanes. And wearing the white jerseys, home on the scoreboard, representing the Orlando Metro Conference, please welcome the Boone Braves. Let's meet the lineups for both teams. We'll begin with our guests from Mount Dora, and we'll start with senior number 0, Israel Rogers. Senior number 1, DeQuavius Taylor. Senior number 3, Thomas Mendoza. At wing, 6'1", senior number 11, Hunter Strine Clay. And finally, for the Hurricanes, at small forward, junior number 21, Caden Hill. And now, let's meet the starting lineup for the Boone Braves. Starting at shooting guard with senior number 0, Hunter Dawson. At small forward, 6'5", senior number 1, Connor Summer. At point guard, 6'1", senior number 2, Bryce Deas. At point guard, 5'10", senior number 3, Makauri Massey.
With Wakaiba last year.
And finally for the Braves, senior number 11, Efren Saladino. The head coach of the Braves in his 11th year at the helm of Boone, David Martinson, and for the Hurricanes in his first year at Mount Dora, Rich Ross. The officials for today's game are from the Central Florida Officials Association here in Orlando. Again, for those of you here in the arena, we want to remind you we are live streaming tonight's game on YouTube and the NFHS network. Make sure your friends and family elsewhere in Orlando, back in Mount Dora, or anywhere in the world know that they can tune in live to watch online. And we want to welcome and thank those of you who did just that. My name is Mark Barchi, the media director for the Metro vs. Florida Challenge. And I am going to turn you over to the very capable hands of Neil Fisher, longtime Central Florida sports writer, and Brent Bond, longtime coaching staff member for Central Florida teams. And they will be taking you through the call of tonight's game.
Yeah, thank you, Mark. As always, a beautiful job of the pregame introductions. And we are happy and proud to have Brent Bond, 15 years of coaching experience, both high school, college, head as well as assistants, joining us for this 6th game out of 26, the 6th game of day 1 from from Lake Highland Prep, making up the 2025 Earl Graham Metro vs. Florida Challenge. And of course, this is Boone. Boone looking to rebound from a 13-14 season. A bit of a down, something down. They've reached the last 3 or 4 years, not what they were expecting up till about 10 years ago. A perennial playoff contender. Mount Dora coming in 7-19 under Rich Ross first year. So certainly a lot of improvement there. And we'll get into the season previews in a minute, but right off the bat, Coach Bond, what should we expect in this matchup?
Well, you know, Boone traditionally has been a team that really controls the pace of the game. They're extremely physical. You know, goes back a long time with Greg Shirley and then Coach Martinson here recently. And Mount Dora is just he's had some great teams, and they're going to try to play a little more up-tempo, and it should be a great matchup.
Okay, so take a quick look at the previews. Again, Boone 13-14. Their season ended in the district semifinal. Member of Class 7A District 4, 5-7 in this event. Of course, as Coach Bond met David Martinson, longtime coach, long before he got to Boone. Spent several years at Winter Park, won a championship there as well. And they lost 10 seniors off that 13-14 senior, but they do return 2 players with adequate varsity experience. Commerce Summers, 13.6 points per game as the score remains 2-0. A wild shot taken there by Deas. And Bryce Deas, a transfer from Wakaiva as well. And then Makauri Massey, 10 points each. Anything else you want to add to that?
Well, we just see what Mount Dora does with us out of bounds here against Boone's man-to-man pressure.
And then Mount Dora, as I mentioned, 7-19, a member of Class 4A District 6. Their season also ended in the district semifinals. 2-3 in this record. Rich Ross takes over, so not just growing for the players, but the coach as well as the relationship. Still a 2-0 score here. As you mentioned, a physical. That's one of the traditions that you see in Boone.
You're seeing Boone play man-to-man. You know, they're getting to the help side, sealing the gaps, keeping keeping Mount Dora in front of them. We'll see how they play here.
And a somewhat similar style from Mount Dora under Rich Ross. They expect to be fast-paced, gritty, and physical, and senior-led as they have 4 of their 5 stars are seniors. So settle in, a 3-2 lead for the Metro Conference. They won the first 3, the Florida contingency winning the last 2. And we are now tied 2-2 as the scoop shot goes over by Mayfield. First tie of the ball game. If you're new to this event, it's very simple. It's based on a couple of events in the college ranks, most currently the big, as we get to drain the rain.
Massey hitting a 3 for
Massey
Boone.
draining the rain, 5-2 lead now for Boone. The Southeastern Conference versus the Big East. Before that, we had the ACC versus Big Ten. I know there was a couple other with the Big 12. This event is based on that same concept. The Metro Conference takes on a non-Metro Conference member in each game, and that will be a turnover. Possession goes to Boone.
Rogers taking it deep there and just, try to finish the left hand and then goes out of Boone, out of bounds Boone ball.
And then, of course, at the end of the 26 games over 4 days, we'll add up which side wins the most. The Metro Conference winning last year, the 3 previous years, the Florida contingency.
Foul is called against Hurricanes number Hunter Strong play. That's his first personal foul, the team's 3rd, and it sends Makauri Massey to the line, shooting 2 for the Braves.
So Massey with 3 points now, of course, draining that tray on the last possession. And he will go to the free throw line. Chance for Boone to get the lead up to 2 possessions. Of course, with 4:50 remaining. And, Coach, I always believe that if you can get that lead up to 2 possessions within the first 4 minutes, that's a good sign. Your thoughts about that?
Yeah, absolutely. You want to get off to a good start. Probably the most important I had worked for a coach who said the most important part of any game is the first 5 minutes of each half. And so Boone off to a nice start here, 7-2.
Yeah, and again,
both teams are running kind of patient, deliberate man-to-man offenses, against man-to-man defenses. So it will be fun to see that style.
Got another whistle, and again, obviously a 2-possession lead does not win the game there in the first 4 minutes.
Sure.
But I just always feel like it puts you in that position of you feeling good about yourself and feeling like you're moving forward instead of playing from behind.
That's right. No doubt about that. No doubt about that, Neil.
So
the screener action there with Boone. A nice back cut.
And the rejection.
Yeah. Mount Dora's got some length, Neil. They really do. And we'll see if that negates a lot of the backdoor action that Boone's going to try to do today.
So Boone in a man-to-man.
Yep, they're going to man-to-man right here out of bounds. Yep.
The inbound pass along that baseline down low. The spin.
Well, that's a great look. He's just got to finish it.
Yeah,
You know,
couldn't
Taylor's
get
gotta
it too
finish it
hard.
there.
Mount Dora in transition as we approach 4 minutes. Whoa, a little wild pass there. Nice job by Martin to bring that back down, and now we got a scramble on the floor. Held ball.
Maybe a late whistle. I'd like to see that get called a little sooner. But, all right, another opportunity for Boone here.
So another turnover for Mount Dora. Chance for Boone to add to that lead, get it up to 3 possessions now. Of course, if they can go to the 3-point field goal, get that, it'll be an 8-point lead. Man-to-man again for Mount Dora, rotating to the top of the key.
Yeah. Boone running some screen-to-screener. We used to call this the shuffle offense.
The 6-footer from the baseline, no dice. Skying for that rebound and coming down is Taylor. Nice job off to the races as we drop under 4 minutes. Mount Dora now settling into their half-court offense. Down on that left corner. Go back to the top. I believe this is the longest possession for either team in terms of holding for a shot from the free throw line. Stop, pop, no drop. That was Taylor with the attempt. Ripping down that rebound and back the other way we go. That was Massey with the rebound.
And he just went in transition, pushed up the right side, and
and again, of course,
just good probing, good. But Massey's pretty quick in transition. He's a threat. He's probing. I like that.
And I say Coach Coach Martinson, I've always gotten the feel that he's a coach that plays a lot of take your opportunities as opposed to always wanting to get into transition. And I think we're seeing that right off the bat here. Yeah. Boone doing a nice job of picking their spots with transition. There's an opportunity. Rims in and out. Deas, the Wekiva transfer, unable to find the range.
Here's what I'm seeing with Boone that I really like in the half court, Neil, is they run a lot of stagger double screens away from the ball, and that really moves defense, and then they get the ball reversed, and then it kind of just makes the floor susceptible to penetration with the dribble. So I really like seeing that.
Inbound pass now, left wing popping
stagger
out, and splash!
Thomason.
From Thomason.
Coming off the stagger. That's a great shot, moving to his left.
10-2 lead now, 8-0 run for Boone. And again, they're establishing that lead, forcing the onus for Mount Dora to make a couple of plays here. And watch out. Another turnover for Mount Dora. I believe that's 3 in their last 5 possessions.
Yeah, that's good. That's true. And they're going to get a timeout, and the coach is going to settle them down a little bit. Coach Ross is going to try to rally the troops there, Coach.
So the 10-2 lead now, highlighted by the splash, the tray from Hunter Thomason, and a 10-2 lead as we go to our break from Lake Highland Prep, the 2025 Earl Graham Metro versus Florida Challenge.
Yeah.
But he's also the during the break, Coach Bond and I were talking about all the games. This is a 6th game. We'll have one more after this. That is Timber Creek taking on Lake Brantley as the scoop shot. Tried to go a la Dr. J for those of you who are my age. That was Summer. He couldn't get it, but the offensive rebound comes down. Windex work for Massey.
And Mount Dora changed their defense out of that timeout and went to a trap. Try to get Boone out of their half-court execution a little bit.
Yeah, astute observation there, Coach. Of course, that's Coach Brent Bond, former member of the Wekiva High School staff, and that's important because Coach Williams, he used to coach at Wekiva. He's the director, creator of this event.
Sat with Scott for the last 2 games. We sat and talked basketball. Always good to catch up with Scott. He's one of the finest high school coaches anywhere.
Yeah,
Neil.
1997 champion, coaching Mount Dora, Class 4A. Of course, what I come to know of him is that he's a coach who takes over programs that are either struggling, as he did with Mount Dora. I believe they had only won 5 games the year before he took over, or he takes over expansion teams like he did with Kaiba, and within 3 years he had him in the playoffs as a slash and the dash.
And that's exactly what Boone has to do against that half-court trap. They're trapping the sidelines. Boone has to skip it, make the trap part of their offense, and they did right there. Massey, of course, a really good athlete getting to the rim for Boone.
Down low, a beautiful setup there. But
look.
Yeah, great look, but
just got to
unfortunately,
finish that, yeah.
Kahn couldn't make the bounce pass there. And I think that's really where you see a team, as we mentioned, Rich Ross in his first year with Mount Dora, a number of newcomers. So not just the player-coach relationship, but the player-to-player relationship. The step back and drain the rain from Sala. And so Boone, again, we don't keep statistics. We don't have a big enough crew, but I would definitely say that Boone's come out. They're shooting over 50%, and that comes from setting up good shots.
Absolutely, there's no doubt about it.
So good passing.
Let's see Mount Dora can answer here. They're trying to play deliberate. Their spacing's a little funky right now. Their timing's a little bit off offensively. See if they can kind of regroup here.
Yeah,
looks like they're resetting right now. That's a good decision by the Hurricanes. Going to some high pick and roll.
Sala with possession, one-on-one. Excuse me, that's Kahn going one-on-one with Sala. Got the fives reversed there.
Yeah.
Right wing, down low into the corner. 11 seconds, 10 seconds. And the whistle, and
it's going to be a foul on Boone. It's going to be, I think, a foul.
So I was just about to say, to see if Mount Dora wants to set up for the last shot. And it's a non-shooting foul. So Mount Dora actually with 5 fouls. Of course, that's a moot point with possession. If they are back on defense, it will matter. Looks like they're going to take that last shot.
Little sideline bounce play right here.
In the corner, 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second.
He's not going to get a shot. Didn't know what the time was on the clock.
Yeah, lost control, and that's a
Didn't
mistake.
know time possession score right there.
Yeah, that's a common mistake with youth. So as we head.
And that young man will grow. Israel Rogers, he's a senior. He's got to know better than that. He will. He'll grow. It's November, Neil. They're still getting the cobwebs out here in this basketball season, aren't they?
Yeah, and so we head into the second quarter. It will be a 15-2 lead for Boone.
Yeah, Boone's
and that's
early,
been
right?
spurred by some excellent shooting. They're getting some great looks there, some open looks, and even when they do have a hand that's coming off of a lot of screens. So while we got the break now, I'm Neil Fisher. Thank you for joining us on this Tuesday afternoon, the 2025 Earl Graham Metro versus Florida Challenge, where the logo, the slogan is the event that the Metro Conference puts its reputation on the line. And Neil, it means a lot to me because my last year at Wekiva, I coached with Earl. Coach Graham and I coached. We had practice every day. My JV team was on one side of the floor, and Coach Graham's freshman team was on the other side of the floor. And we developed a real closeness. In fact, I always think about him around Thanksgiving because he came to my house that year and spent Thanksgiving with my parents and myself. Yeah.
And he's greatly missed. I think about him often. He was a great friend.
And, of course, those of you who listen to each of his games, I usually will go into depth about, Coach Graham and what he meant, but he was an even better person.
Unbelievable human being and a great coach.
And my experience, which, is very similar to yours about the Thanksgiving, is what I always enjoyed about him, what I remember the most, has nothing to do with coaching. It was just simply the fact that it didn't matter if our paths had crossed 6 minutes earlier or 6 hours earlier. He always remembered what we had talked about the last time we met, and he always asked me about it.
He was, by the way, I see Max Dean just checked in for Boone and promptly got a foul. He got getting his money's worth out there on the floor. Probably bailed out Caden Hill a little bit on that drive. But the other thing about Earl is he meant so much to the Orlando Fire Department too. He was
Right.
one of the,
Yeah, and we
was really
we
one of the
talk
first
about
African American firemen in Orlando, with Chief Cam. That's years ago in the '60s in Orlando. Just a special guy. John Stallworth's college roommate, Earl Graham. How about that?
Oh, really?
For
Yeah.
you football
and you know
nuts.
what? I'm glad you brought that up. That's something that I've forgotten over the last
Yeah.
5 years since his passing. But I'd also point out, Mark and I bring this out often. Of course, Mark Barchi, our producer, he's taking this game off as far as the on-air talent. When you go into firefighting, you do that because you have a passion to serve.
That's exactly right. Boy, I'll tell you what. Makauri Massey is just making a difference. He's just everywhere on the floor right now, Neil. I mean, he's an active little player, I'll tell you what.
Yeah, 5'10" senior.
Well, and 5 foot 10 inches with some elevator shoes. I would really like to put a tape. I'd really like to put a tape measure to that 5'10", Neil. I'm going to dispute the 5'10" with Massey. But maybe he is.
And now at the line, Jonathan Reyes. He got a couple of offensive rebounds.
He's a wide body. He's a physical player.
And at least on that play, using his wide body very well.
Yep.
And
That's right there.
so a 15-4 lead now for Boone.
See, look at Massey grabbing a defensive rebound and pushing in transition. I like this kid.
Oh, some beautiful passing
Yeah,
there.
that's great.
No, ball never touched the court.
That's a travel.
Yeah.
Oh, they called an offensive foul.
Oh.
Okay, I thought it was going to be a travel.
I thought it was too. Actually, it is.
Who am I to question the men and the zebras out there, right?
Actually, I think it is traveling. No point.
Okay, it wasn't a fall. It was.
Oh, it was player control.
Okay, they call offensive foul. Yeah. I thought I saw travel before that. All right, well.
Actually, I guess it could have been either.
Yeah, right. There you go. Nice
in
move
the
there.
lane. No dice, and Massey again ripping down the offensive rebound back the other way, quickly into transition.
Well, he's just
and
playing.
Finger roll, the touch, and one. 6:17 first quarter, 17-4 lead with Massey going to the line. Now up to 7 points.
Jordan Lopez checking into the game for Boone. Lopez, a junior.
So also when we started talking about Coach Graham, of course this is the Earl Graham Metro versus Florida Challenge, but we were talking between quarters, Coach Bond and I. This has been a very competitive event so far, other than the Wekiva victory, although this has the potential to be the second, I don't want to quite say blowout, but certainly a decisive victory. 14-point lead just 2 minutes into the second quarter.
Still early.
And that's exactly as a fan.
They can get Caden Hill going.
But as a fan, you want to see a lot of close games. And one of the things that Coach Williams wants to do when he sets up these matchups,
Massey turn it over transition. But again, I love the poise, looking down the floor, trying to make something happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean that's
one of those
a forgivable turnover. I know that, listen, I lived and died with all my turnovers when I coached, but that's a kid throwing it, trying to push it ahead in transition. You will turn it over a little bit when you run now.
Yeah, that's one of those mistakes that coaches will tell you as we get the tray attempt. Can't find the range. Kareem's off. Long outlet this time. It connects. And the deuce making the deposit. Max Dean. Beautiful
well, and
passing.
Summer made a great outlet pass. He's a nice player, too. Physical.
And
any guy wearing the face mask, he's in there mixing it up.
Taylor at the other end with the answer, so a couple of deposits. As I like to say, that means they took the bank shot. Still a 14-point lead, 5 minutes, second quarter. Game number 6 of 7, day 1, 2025 Earl Graham Metro versus Florida Challenge. There's a bad pass. Wasn't looking.
Well, Coach Martinson was trying to call something. He's trying to get their attention to pull it out and reset, and they didn't get it done.
And drain the rain.
Yeah, Taylor.
Yeah, that's a much-needed point there. And just want to go back to what we were talking about, making those long passes. Anytime, I think that's every coach will take their chances. If you keep doing those long passes, eventually you're going to get some easy points.
Here's the thing. turnovers are never good. But let's say this. When you're throwing it down there, it's not a pick six.
Right.
You know, at least you know you can give your team a chance to get back in transition. Maybe there's a degree of turnovers. Maybe there's like you've got your venial turnovers and your mortal turnovers. Your mortal turnovers, you know, you got to go to confession for those. When you throw those away and they're pick sixes, you're giving up points. Your venials are when you're going over the top. Maybe they go out of bounds. You get to set your defense. You don't want to turn it over ever. But, you know, maybe there's a certain degree of turnovers there. Working in some Catholic theology here in the broadcast. It's, you know, whatever. Okay, here we go. They're going to run the baseline here. You're allowed to run the baseline. We're going to see Connor Summer.
So 20-9 lead for Boone.
4-minute taken.
And Boone so far doing a nice job with their passing, breaking those half-court or full-court defenses that Mount Dora's throwing. And bullseye again.
For Reyes. Let's see if Reyes can shoot it in the corner like that. That's a weapon when your guy can step out.
Yeah, especially when a big guy can step out. Back the other way, the turnover. Beautiful pass. Oh, couldn't get it to go. Too hard off the iron. That was Connor Summer, but he does draw the foul. Contact as he slashed through the paint.
Absolutely.
And he'll go to the line. 2 points for the senior.
I like Summer. Long, physical.
So Boone off to a 2-0 start, looking to go 3-0. And if you're Coach Martinson, you certainly gotta like the position that your team's put you in right now. Again, great shooting, over 50%. We don't keep our stats. We just don't have the manpower. This is high school basketball, but the eye test, I think you'd agree with me.
Yep, Summer was 1 and 2 from the line. Boone had missed, I think, the last couple free throws, so nice to see something go down from the charity stripe. Boone doing a good job guarding. But also, that's pretty good action right there by Mount Dora, really is. And looks like Stroughton Clay was able to get to the basket because Boone was guarding all the action there with their man-to-man. And look at, there you go, right there, Connor Summer to Massey. Your two players hooking up, you're getting your four guy busting out and hitting your point guard in transition. That's just pretty good basketball and hard to defend, Neil.
Yeah, so the lead now up to 15, 26-11, largest of the game for Boone. They have not trailed in this game.
Boone doing a great job at denying back cuts. Mount Dora really trying to go back door. Boone just snapping ahead, throwing a hand in those passing lanes and shutting them down. Boone's pressuring the ball. Really, Mount Dora needs to kind of space out, run some cuts, try to get some screening away, try to isolate. There's a, oh, I don't know. Neil, you got to take that shot. They're going to kick to Stroughton Clay with a miss.
And
here comes Boone transition.
Yeah, another rebound leading to transition. That's another mark, as we've mentioned, of Coach Martinson coach teams.
Martinson calling a set out. They're trying to run something right now. See?
Yeah, and they take their time. Take their spots in terms of going full court transition, but when they do get a rebound, they do get down half court very quickly. It's set up, and there you see it. Nice fadeaway from Summer, now up to 5 points.
And I really give Coach Martinson a lot of credit there. He saw that there was nothing going in transition, called out a set, and they ran it through and got what they needed with Summer and getting a paint touch and a nice little soft
contact.
Shot. They're going to call player control right there.
Oh, Caden Hill trying to negotiate through that Boone defense, which has given them all kinds of problems. Of course, 11 points with 2 minutes remaining before halftime. That pretty much indicates it's been tough going, trying to get anything going inside for Mount Dora. Mount Dora also off to an 0-3 start under first-year coach Rich Ross. So remain in that full
here
court.
Here comes Mount Dora, full court press, running the diamond press. Boone taking a transition three. I think that plays into the hands of Mount Dora, to be honest.
Max Dean with the attempt. Couldn't find the rim. Mount Dora crashing those boards hard as we drop under 2 minutes. 28-11 lead now. Mount Dora has been trailing since the beginning, and there's that Boone aggressive defense. Those hands, it's not just the movement, the feet getting in position, but the hands have been very quick. And again, this is a young Mount Dora team. They do have senior laden, but these are seniors who have not had a lot of experience.
Well, he's playing a lot of bodies right now, Neil.
Oh.
I mean, he's rotating people in and pressing. He's got people, I think, that aren't even in the program that he's playing.
And bullseye, again, beautiful passing that sets up Deas, who converts. So a minute and a half, lead up to 31-11, 20 points now, largest of the game. And I think you're reaching that point now if you're Mount Dora. You got to get some baskets and some stops here right before half, or this game might be out of reach before halftime.
Well, yeah, Mount Dora's playing young right now. You can see.
Yeah, again, even though they have seniors, they have not gotten a lot of experience playing, and certainly in an environment like this. Still about 150 fans. We had about 300 fans for, of course, the previous game. That was the primetime game, the Glamour and Glitz, Oak Ridge and Lake Highland Prep.
It's a great game.
But and a
Highland's
lot of them
really good.
cleared out, but there's still about 150 fans. Of course, Boone not far from Lake Highland Prep, about 5 miles. Can't get that one to drop off the mark. Taylor again with exactly 1 minute remaining.
Foul called against Braves number 12, Anders Frame. His first personal foul on the team's fourth, and that will send the Hurricanes to the breather line.
Yeah, see, I can, Neil, like 42 is not. I can see we've got him up here on the screen, Cash Cuevas, but he's not in the program. So, what I think's going on, maybe I'm wrong here, is that Coach Ross is brought some young guys. He's going to play some bodies. He's going to give them some experience. He's building a program.
Right.
This is year one. He's going to play a lot of different people, give a lot of people a lot of chance.
Yeah, and I know this is a different sport, but I do think it's an apt analogy in the opposite direction. You look at what, oh, geez, I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank, but the Indiana football coach who came from James Madison.
Yeah, Kirk Signetti.
Kirk Signetti, thank you. I knew this.
Done a great job.
He came to Indiana in less than 1 year. He turned them into a top 10 team.
That's right.
That's rare. That's less than 1%.
Yeah, well, when you have Mark Cuban writing some checks, it helps. But, hey, here's Boone. Boy, look at Boone.
Flying through that lane, baseline attacked. Lopez drops in the deuce.
Nice job.
So this is
Look
first.
at Boone's like. Now we're seeing some zone from Boone. Boone playing some 2-3. First time we've seen it tonight.
And those were the first points by Lopez, a 33-12 lead, 20 seconds. And here's where it goes to what you were talking about, building a program. It looks like Mount Dora has a certain checklist on how they're going to run their offense, even though it might take them a little bit longer to get the shot off.
Boone's discipline in their zone's great. One man on the ball. Nobody's guarding more than one consecutive pass.
Now you got to get that shot
turnover.
off. Turnover the other way. Long pass again. Another beautiful pass. They can't ask for a better ending to that first half.
Bryce Deas
Deas with the over-the-shoulder hook shot. That'll take us to 35-12 at halftime, and it's been a domination for Boone. It was 2-2. They ran off 8 straight, and they've continued to build that lead for games as we go to halftime of Game 6, the 2025 Earl Graham Metro versus Florida Challenge. Again, thank you for joining us. I'm Neil Fisher. Of course, if you follow Wekiva basketball in this event, you're probably familiar with my voice. Running with me tonight, we have Coach Brent Bond, 15 years of experience, both head coach and assistant coach. Happy to have him with us, as
Great
well
to
as
be
proud.
Here, Neil. And, of course, the master of ceremonies, Mark Barchi. Run the show here.
Yeah, he's our public address announcer as well.
And just kind of the production. I mean, just he's the Swiss Army knife, right? I mean, he's the guy, right?
Yeah. So,
Mark's been doing it for a long time. And I coach in this event. Coached with Scott, Coach Williams my year at Wekiva when we were highly ranked, and you remember that team. You were covering that team for the Apopka Chief, I believe, weren't you? And and then I coached. We beat a really good Winter Park team in that event. No, we didn't. It was a great Lake Highland team. I'm sorry. It was a Joel Berry led Lake Highland team we beat in that event. And then the next year, I got the 9 a.m. game against Point Siena on the day after Thanksgiving. It might have been 8 a.m. I want to think. And we got popped. I think we were down 40 at the half. My first year at East River. So I've been on both sides of it. I've had the thrill of victory and the agony of a total annihilation in this event. So it's a great event. Scott does such a great job running it. And, obviously the time and energy he puts into it is unsurpassed.
Yeah, and of course, we have the opportunity to talk a little bit here at halftime.
Yeah.
Something I usually don't have the opportunity to do, because we do have to make sure we get the bills paid, aka sponsorship and advertisement. So Mark's usually doing that at halftime. Being that we have now been able to split up the on-air talent and the public address, we can talk a little bit more at halftime. But this is an event that has grown. It was pretty big to start with. We had 2 days. We played on Friday and Saturday that first year. I believe we played 14 games that first year. The second year, we believe we went to 20 games, but we were still playing on Friday and Saturday. And, of course, Mark talks often about how it was a long and a tiring day. You get to those 9th and 10th games. Of course, now Coach Williams went to the idea of making it more days and then doing 4 days, 6 or 7 games. And then, of course, we've talked about this during the first half with the passing of Coach Graham.
Yeah.
He also invited Lake Highland Prep to come in and be the host for the first day, and I'm sure that also helps him out.
Well, Neil, I forgot. Not to interrupt. I forgot. I'm sitting here now remembering how late we used to do, because I was on staff at Wekiva, and we were like the host of this. I remember that last game tipping off
at
so
like 10 o'clock, 10:30.
Here's a fun story about the Florida versus Metro. I remember the athletic director at Wekiva was Lamar Glenn. You remember Lamar?
Of course.
I remember we were going off the floor for after warm-ups into the locker room to talk to our team. That's that team with Willie, Nate, and Ruben that we had at Wekiva. I remember Lamar Glenn grabbed me by my shirt and said, come in the training room. I want you to see something right now. And he showed me a replay of kick 6. It was Auburn, Alabama. It happened just seconds ago. This just happened.
Okay, now I
Auburn
remember that
returned a
Davis.
missed field goal for a touchdown. They won the game.
Mike Davis, the safety who caught that. And I remember, like you were saying, right before you had that game, I remember I went back to the hospitality room and to get some water for that last game.
Yeah.
And I remember Coach Williams coming in and he's just yelling like, "You gotta see the ending! You gotta see the ending!"
He pulled us in and made us all watch it. I remember Lamar showing it to us. It was that was during the Florida versus Metro. I remember Coach Graham and I and Scott huddled around a TV. That brings back great memories. You know what? This is a great event because it's the start of, to me, it's like the start of basketball season in Orlando. And it's just a special event. And it's great that Earl's name is tied to it. I can't say how much Earl meant to me in my life. I mean, I could go on and on about what Earl meant to me as a friend.
And same thing for me, even though I wouldn't consider myself someone who got to spend time with him on a regular basis, but I did consider him a close friend. Again, like I told you, it didn't matter whether it was 6 minutes or 6 hours or 6 months the last time I saw him.
Unbelievable.
I just always felt like this connection with him because he always remembered what we had talked last about. But, again, I talk every game. I make sure that I talk a little bit about his legacy and what he did. And, again, he was a great coach. He was a coach in terms of successful. He developed players, their talent. He was a great X's and O's guy. He always seemed to be able to add that little extra something to the game plan that the head coach had put. That difference, being able to get those couple extra baskets.
He just got his guys to play so hard, Neil.
But
he just
again,
the heck out of his
as
kids.
Great as all the compliments we can give him as a coach, first and foremost, as a person, a human being, he just made the world a better place for those who knew
There's
him.
no doubt he was. And he put a smile on everybody's face. And, my dad was dying of cancer, and he had Thanksgiving with us. Our last Thanksgiving we had with my dad. Earl was there. And just I remember him sitting and talking to my dad about growing up in the eras they did in the 50s and 60s. And Another thing about Earl, he was a real pioneer in the AAU basketball world.
Right.
I mean, he had the Soysa Raiders back in the late 80s, early 90s, when not a lot of guys were doing it. I mean, he was a real pioneer in that field. He's just a special guy. This is a special event, and I'm really honored to be part of the broadcast.
Yeah, and so for me, I'm a lifelong sports fan. I loved it so much I decided to make it my profession, cover it for a living, of course. Now, just to give you a little personal insight, I am looking to transition careers, get into something more on the administrative and business side.
Great.
Working on my master's degree in business and sports leadership. But
great.
As someone who's a lifelong sports fan, everything, my life really revolves around sports, and maybe not in terms of importance or impacts, but chronologically.
Sure.
I know what time of the year it is based on what sport, and now, of course, since Scott Williams started this, and to your point, since he started this, I know Thanksgiving week. I know it's Thanksgiving week because we now have this event.
Well, and I challenge anyone to find an event that's so organized and well ran, and of course, one of the reasons why that is because the guy sitting to my right? Like Mark Barchi is like the work he's done with the website and just the promotion and the running of the event is second to none in the area.
Yeah, and
it's
of
made
course,
it so special.
And
really
of course, those of you who are not familiar, Mark and I are the in-house on-air talent, the broadcasting. Mark came to me about, I think it was 12 years ago now, 13 years ago. I just mentioned to him, of course, Wekiva opened 18 years ago. As we get ready to start the second half, 35-12. Mark and I worked together for 5-6 years. Not directly. Mark, of course, is the public address announcer at Wekiva, and he was building a sports information website. I was covering the Wekiva for the Apopka Chiefs. So it wasn't directly, we didn't work together directly, but we did rely on each other to do our jobs. And I just mentioned in passing to Mark that when I grew up, one of my great, I guess you say, dreams or one of the things I wanted to do with my life was to be a play-by-play voice, get involved, and in a more general sense, get involved with game production. And Mark, when he decided that he wanted to start streaming these games and do it like it was professional with an actual play-by-play crew, not just open up a web, as we begin with that foul, Mount Dora with the offensive foul, remembered that I had said that to him. And again, it was just in passing one night towards the end of a game, and he invited me to come do it with him, and re-sparked my love and my interest. One of the things I have to say, and I don't mean this in a negative way or a wistful way, even if it sounds that way, but, sometimes life takes over your life. And, at that point, I was just starting. My life revolved around earning a paycheck with the Apopka Chief and as a reporter, and I kind of forgotten about that passion. Just, again, trying to earn a living and providing for myself, financial provision. So
but here you are doing it. Thomason knocking down 2 free throws, by the way, Neil, on the give and go. I really thought that really Mount Dora bailed him out.
So anyway,
foul at the rim.
To finish my thought, though, that's how much it's meant to me having Mark a part of this program. As you mentioned, I agree with you wholeheartedly, but having Mark in my life and working with them has been very personal to me as well, and I'm very grateful for that.
Thomason with a quick 5 points, 2 free throws, and a 3-point corner shot.
Yeah, lead up to 40-12, 1 minute into the third quarter. So if you're just joining us, the Metro versus Florida Challenge. This is an event very similar to what college does, the Big East versus SEC Challenge. No dice there. That attempt launched by Code Lister. Now Boone, strong rebounding.
Yeah, Thomason grabbing a rebound. He's grabbed 5 points and a rebound to start the half. He's having a good 90 seconds right here for Boone.
So that SEC versus Big East, you have each team from a conference plays the other team in the conference, and then they add up at the end of the event who wins most. Conference pride on the line as we get an offensive charge.
Well,
and a turnover.
And Caden Hill's just a little out of control. He's a good athlete.
Same.
He just needs to slow down a little bit, get some poise, gather himself. You can tell he can play.
So same idea here as Mount Dora remains in the full court man-to-man, where a member of the Metro Conference take on a non-member. We call it the Florida contingency. And then at the end of the 26 games, we add up who wins the most games. The Metro winning last year, the Florida contingency the 3 years before that, and another splash. Again, great passing. That was Summer, draining the rain. Another saying I like to say. He's now up to 8 points. And so every school, public high school, has, the deposit off the bank from Landon Kahn, the answer.
I'd like to know if he had that one planned or not. That felt like a little four-leaf clover in the pocket right there. But
so
still counts the same.
Yeah. Again, and Coach Williams used to say this when I covered him when he was the coach at Wekiva, you don't get points for aesthetics. They all count the same.
That's right.
So what all the schools, all the public high schools in Orange County are members of the Metro Conference.
Metro Conference. Every OCPS school is part of the Metro.
Yes, and I always like to say that where it comes in difference from the college is that it's not like an agreement. Once the school opens, they're automatically a member. You know, college, and of course we've seen this, it's really reached its peak, its zenith the last 5 or 6 years with the 4 now major power conferences, of course, the Pac-12, for lack of a better term, going
Pac-12
out
anymore. Is there a Pac-12?
It went out of
gone.
business. There's going to be a new Pac-12 next year, but it's not going to be the same.
Yeah.
It's not going to be a Power 5 conference. But in that case, you have discussions about teams joining these conferences, and then of course the team that is a candidate to join their board of directors or whoever it is who makes those decisions votes on it, and then the members of the conference votes on it. As we get second chance points there, that's Caden Hill battling
Caden
underneath.
Hill's a good athlete. He's a nice player. I see a lot of potential in that young man.
So 3 minutes into the second half, 43-16 lead for Boone. A 2-2 beginning, 8-0 run for Boone, and they've led ever since then.
And by the way, Mount Dora in zone, and they're putting Massey in the middle of the zone offense, Boone is, which is interesting. I mean, you got a small guy in the middle, but they like him as a facilitator because he can do stuff like there.
There's exactly, he heard you, Coach.
Well, you put him in the middle. You wonder, well, why do you put your little guy in the middle? He's a playmaker.
Yeah,
he
great
catches
passing.
in there and he can make a great pass out of there. But a lot of coaches wouldn't have the foresight and say, well, he's too small. But you can see Makauri Massey can pass.
Yeah,
just about anywhere on the floor.
And I've seen that 3 or 4 times all the way up at the NBA level. For those of you who are my age, in my mid-50s, I always go back to the bad boy Pistons. I grew up in Detroit. I have no problem saying that. Whether you like them or not, that's a different discussion.
I didn't realize you were in Michigan.
Yeah, native Detroiter, born and raised there. But we had Isaiah Thomas, who, of course, is in the Hall of Fame. 6'1", one of the toughest guys to ever play. He was the face. And
Westchester St. Joseph's High School, Gene Pingatore was his high school coach in Chicago. I met his high school coach one time.
And Rich Daly, Coach
Chuck
Daly, he did that often. The same thing that Coach Martinson's now doing with Massey, as you said. He put him right at that free throw line in the middle of a zone because he was such a great facilitator. I saw the Sixers do that with, of course, Allen Iverson. Even going back, again, I'm sure there's guys since then, but I think you tend to remember certain things more often, more vividly when you're a youth because it's your first time. And I remember
Massey with a great dish there, by the way, Neil. And he gets another offensive rebound.
Yeah.
He's everywhere, this kid.
Yeah. And just to follow up, another great move was as we get the foul there, 44-16.
It's going to be travel. They're going to call travel right there.
Coach
on Summer. Sorry,
Pat Riley used to do the same thing with Magic Johnson. He didn't do it nearly as often, but for a change of pace, he would do that same thing where you were talking about. He put Magic in the middle of a zone because he was such a great facilitator.
Sure. Here's Massey in transition. He's going to wheel and deal. He's a lot of control. He found it, though. Still, see, such a good athlete, has such good hands. He's able to recover and make a pretty good pass.
So 3:41 remaining. The lead up to 30 now, 46-16.
You know, Neil, I kind of have to eat some words too because I thought Boone was going to be pretty deliberate. Remember I said that?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
You know what? They're running a gun. I mean, they're
I
freewheeling. They're good in transition, aren't they?
So far,
Pretty
yeah.
darn good.
And I think Coach Martinson wants them to go ahead. And this is something Mark and I talk about a lot. If you joined us at halftime, of course, Mark Barchi is our Mark Barchi and I'm Neil Fisher. We're the in-house broadcasting team. Mark is actually taking this off. He's handling the public address announcing as well as the production side, and we're happy to have Coach Brent Bond with us.
Great to be.
But Mark and I often talk about you have these games where it's obvious one team's going to win. You get early in the second half, it becomes obvious.
Mount Dora doesn't have a 30-point play here is what you're saying, Neil.
But more than that, you wonder why one team keeps running, why they're not letting up. And the point is because coaches –
they all want to get better. Yeah.
And you can speak to this.
Absolutely.
Coaches aren't coaching for that one specific game. They're coaching for the future.
Absolutely. And that's the thing. I'm sure that if you ask Coach Ross what he's doing, he's just trying to get his team better. It's November. This is the first week, really the second week of the season, right? I mean, you're just trying to get your guys better and still your system, your style. That's a quick. I think that's a.
So 3:30 remaining, 46-16 lead now for Boone. Boone coming in with a 2-0 record. Looking to rebound, a 13-14 record last year, very unlike him. Of course, Dave Martinson. I don't know his specific biography profile in terms of where he's coached, but I do know.
He was an assistant for Greg Shirley. I really believe that. If my memory recalls correctly, when Greg stepped down, Coach Martinson took over for him, Neil. I believe that's the case.
Okay. But I do know, of course, he won the state championship at Winter Park.
I think you mean David Bailey. Don't you mean David Bailey?
Well, I think David Bailey, if memory serves me correct, won 2, and then Martinson won a 3rd.
Well, I think you're thinking of the big cat. You're thinking of You're thinking of Don Blackman.
Oh, okay.
Don Blackman. That's okay. I just for the record, Don Blackman had that team with Spencer Rivers and the kid that moved in from Ocoee. Anyway, not that that matters for now.
The reason I bring that up is because, of course, Martinson is a coach not accustomed to an under 500 record.
Yeah.
And so he's had a couple of under 500 records at Boone.
Yeah.
Boone always has been traditionally a team, very worst case, they're a playoff contender.
Yeah.
Makes life a lot more – it's a lot easier to play basketball when you know that you got a shot at going to the playoffs when you have something to play for.
A little give and go right there on the sideline of bounce play from Boone. Yeah, absolutely.
And so it looks like he has a formula and a team this year that can get him back to that level.
And you can see what he's doing right now. He's kind of playing his bench. He's got a 30-point lead in the third quarter. He's going to try to mix and try to develop some depth, which is what he should do. Smart move for Coach. You know, it's going to be a long season. Somebody's going down to an injury. Somebody's going to miss a game. You have to get guys in position that can – the next man up, right? We always say next man up. I know I've heard people pan that phrase before, but someone's got to play. And it's someone's inevitably going to go down or foul out in a key moment. You're going to have some depth. It'll come down to that.
That was Torres at the line, shooting 2 minutes remaining.
Boone trapping in the corners. And by the way, also, Mount Dora is playing their bench right now. They've really kind of decided to just play some people and develop some talent on the end of their bench too. So basically, what we're seeing is a developmental session for both teams at this point. Okay, got a whistle here. Not sure what that whistle's for. The referees are conferring. I don't know if he didn't know the ball was administered. They're going to re-administer it, Neil. Here we go. Boone's run their sideline play.
Yep, inbound pass, give and go.
Little handoff action, little dribble handoff, yeah. Coming off the down screen to the left.
two-man game. Now they get that third player involved. That's number 42. We don't have his name, so not sure who that is. That's Labor now, back over to number 23. The drive, the scoop, and Jabor, the junior, he'll go to the free throw line, forcing the action. And actually, excuse me, that's Landon Kahn. So he got the handoff.
Cash Cuevas is 42 for Mount Dora. Just folks are watching, we want to make sure and get him mentioned. Kahn at the free throw line, knocking one down. That looks pure.
Nice stroke.
Yeah.
So there's something that Mount Dora can build on, the free throw shooting.
Absolutely. You know, they're gonna play a little different team over there in Lake County, and they're going to be just fine. Coach is going to keep working with his squad and getting them better.
So a minute 40 remaining, 31-point lead now for Boone. As we've mentioned, Boone definitely showing they're on the upswing and looking to improve. There's
a curl. Just drawing defense with that curl.
The zone for Mount Dora, that time broken by the big body, Reyes. Unable to score, but if you're Coach Martinson, I think you got to like that move, getting that open shot.
Well, he's got to develop him. Reyes has done some nice things tonight. That might be something he's got to work on, is his pull-up game.
Yes, but you got to like the fact that he can create that pull-up shot
Absolutely,
to begin with.
Absolutely, I agree.
Step,
Just keep getting better, kid.
You got to be able to execute step one before you get to step two. So
absolutely. Young people just getting better out here today. I love it. Okay,
under a minute now.
Maybe our television audience heard this at home. Boone's going to try to run their offense through till they get something at the rim. That's not what I think Coach had in mind, but that's all right. It's going to be out of bounds. Boone can run one of their many arrays, their arsenal of baseline out of bounds plays here. Let's see what they do. Looks like we're going to do a little cross screen. Just kind of get it in. All right, and it looks at Mount Dora's zone. So there's, no, they're man-to-man. They're man-to-man. Looked like 2-3 for a minute, but it was not.
So 30 seconds now, the reverse. Oh, beautiful touch there from Lopez. Snaking through. Body control. And back to where Mount Dora goes. Mount Dora coming off a 7-19 record, so certainly they have room to improve. And hired a new coach this offseason, Rich Reyes. The turnover. 6 seconds remaining. See if they can get that one last shot. Boone comes loose. Good defense by Mount Dora, forcing him into that long shot, and that'll be an air ball. That was Torres taking that last second shot. Of course, this has been all Boone, and certainly you can see the difference in the level of talent and the progression where these two teams are. 52-19 as we head into the fourth quarter. Game 6 of the 2025 Earl Graham Metro versus Florida Challenge.
We'll take this opportunity to thank some of our partners who helped to make the Metro versus Florida Challenge possible, including Mo Money, as well as Elevate Orlando, a civic nonprofit dedicated to helping students realize their full potential with an accredited elective course being offered in many Orange County public schools at 98% graduation rates. Find out how they can help your students. We also want to thank Winter Park Driving Academy for their support of the Metro versus Florida Challenge. Learn to drive at Winter Park Driving Academy, and not just learn to drive, but also take your road test with them so you can skip the line at the dreaded DMV. Visit WPDriving.com to schedule a lesson for your student driver today.
So we head into the fourth quarter from Lake Highland Prep. Not too far, just a few blocks from the corner of Colonial and Mills Avenue. And
Mills 50 area, they call it around here.
Yes.
Great Asian food. Great Asian food in the area.
Oh, yes.
Maybe
yes.
you don't have to get a cup of pho at some point.
So a 52-19 lead. Boone has led from the beginning. We have one tie at 2-2, an 8-0 run. And Boone has been in control since then. This is the 2025 Earl Graham Metro versus Florida Challenge. With the Metro Conference a 3-2 lead It'll be 4-2 at the end of this game. Your winners today from Lake Highland Prep, Horizon, Wekiva, Lake Nona. Those were Metro Conference victories. Vieira and Lake Highland Prep, the host school, and a very exciting and dramatic, until about a minute remaining, victory over Oak Ridge.
Came
those
back
were
in the fourth quarter to win that game.
Yeah, and those were your winners for Florida, the Florida contingency. And by the way, that comeback, it was a 22-3 run for Lake Highland Prep.
It was unbelievable. I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. I mean, they got some guys that showed me some things, did they not? I mean, Lake Highland has some guys that can play. Dead Lanny.
And give credit to Coach Fatigue.
Frederick, yeah.
Frederick. Excuse me.
Ben Frederick. No, it's all right. Yeah, no. Coach against Frat's a great coach. Has been a really good hire for this program. Done a great job at LHP.
So,
Fratrik is what they call him. I think that's what they call him in France.
Okay. So, again,
just kidding.
Oak Ridge. For those of you who follow high school basketball, I was obviously the primetime game, maybe even not just for the day, but for the whole event. Anybody who follows high school knows Oak Ridge, 2018 state champions.
I'll tell you what.
They've made 3 Final Four appearances and 3 regional finals.
It's a factory. This Timber Creek Lake Brantley game coming up next. This will be pretty good, Neil. Should be an exciting
That should
game.
be good, too. But for a team to come back against Oak Ridge, that's something of a stunner. You don't see that often. But to do so with a 22-3 run, that, I think, really was the exclamation point in that game. So we, as Coach said, we have one more game, Timber Creek and Lake Brantley. Of course, those are 2 schools that pretty much for the most part every year they're looking for playoff contenders. Of course, Lake Brantley under Mike Cuff, he's been there for years and years.
Unbelievable. What a run Mike Cuff's had at Lake Brantley. Done a great job there. Great guy. One of the real great guys in the profession, Mike Cuff. And Timber Creek's had a first-year head coach, I believe. Guess it's a new coach. I think Ron Shadig was there last year and then slid over to the girls' side, I think I heard.
Rob Campman.
Yeah, and who had been an assistant, I think, for Grisick. I think with Mark Grisick, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but I don't think I am. Yeah, I heard that actually from Scott Williams earlier today. Getting all the 411 from Coach Williams. Coach W.
Yeah, and Mark Grisick, if you're new to high school basketball in Central Florida, he's done everything there is but win that state championship. Very much like Scott Williams in the sense as we are now in a running clock, score that deuce for Max Dean. So 6:40 now. And Mark Grisick, another one of those coaches who takes over expansion programs and very quickly builds them into playoff participants. He's been at Windermere, the only coach Windermere's had. I believe Windermere's been open now for 10 years.
Has it been 10 years?
Yeah.
My gosh.
About 10 years. So,
boy, time flies fast.
And to my point, took them to the state Final Four in their second year.
Yeah, that's exactly right. He's a really good coach. Boone just having fun in transition, kind of having their way, kind of getting out, kind of fun and gun right now with Boone.
Score the tray for
just
Deas.
Has kind of a summer ball feel to it right now a little bit. Boone's kind of standing around in defense, kind of standing in this zone a little bit.
The 2-3 zone, standard zone.
Yeah.
Of course, if you follow basketball at any level, as you get the stop, pop, no drop for Massey. He's haven't talked about him much in the fourth quarter. He did his damage in the first 3 quarters. But
12 points, yeah.
But I was going to say,
rebounds and assists. He was everywhere early in this game, yeah.
Follow basketball. You know that Jim Boeheim made the 2-3 zone in terms of effectiveness. the longtime Syracuse coach who's now enjoying retirement and doing what you're doing, Coach, on the sideline.
Is he doing some TV?
Yeah, with the ACC Network.
Is he really? I haven't heard Jimmy do the games.
Well, he doesn't do games. He's a studio
he's
host.
studio analyst. Okay,
yeah.
I'll have to tune in a little
Or
bit.
at least I've never seen him do a game. I've just seen him do studio host.
Well, these guys all get these, these big superstar coaches all retire and cash out and get these Fat Cat TV contracts. I did not get that offer when I got out of high school coaching. Well, I'm here, though. I'm here with you guys, so maybe my ship's come in. Looks like some confusion. We're going to get a timeout. Mount Dora, they're going to call one. I like that. Just always teaching. Even when you're down 41, just keep coaching, keep teaching. Great coaches coach whether you're up 30 or down 30.
Yeah,
you're coaching, you're teaching,
again,
you're building.
That goes back under the umbrella of what Mark and I talk about. Coaches aren't coaching for that one specific game.
No.
They're coaching for the future.
Yeah, you're teaching the game. You're hired to be a teacher of the game of basketball to these young men, and I think Coach Ross is doing that right now as he starts his program. And they'll rebound. It'll be fun to watch them this year, and as they kind of grow, they'll move forward from this experience. They've got some good young players.
My father, unfortunately, he passed away as well. 11 years or 10 years. It'll be 10 years next year.
Okay.
But I bring him up because he was a great teacher to me, because he said one thing, and it was one of those things that when you're a kid, you're like, yeah, whatever. Tired of hearing you say it. But when you get to be in your late 20s, early 30s, you then realize the wisdom behind that, and that was, there is no better teacher. There's no more painful teacher than experience, but there's no better teacher.
That's true. Absolutely right. No doubt about that. Looks like Timber Creek's behind us getting ready.
And that goes all the way into sports. You lose a couple of these games, these lopsided games, and you learn a lot from it.
That's right.
You learn what not to do, and you learn the things about what you need to do. One of the things, and I can tell you as a former athlete myself, granted I never played past the high school level. Fortunately, I had a series of injuries. And I did play all the sports, the 4 mainstream sports plus soccer, and I did some racing too, auto racing. Hockey and baseball were the 2 sports I excelled at. But I did play basketball. I was a solid point guard. But this really applies to every sport, and that is you have to learn. You're not just developing your skill level or your talent. You're not learning how to play with your teammates. You're not learning how to relate to your coach. But a big part of that is just the general
violation on iframe right there, Neil. By the way, sorry to interrupt the story, but
the general
you got to wait for that ball to hit the rim, young man.
But
he'll have to work on that in film on Monday.
But in general, you have to learn how to be an athlete, and I think Mount Dora is going through that right now, and that's why I bring it up. And this will be a lesson towards learning how to be an athlete, just preparing for the games. Being able to take in an atmosphere, not lose your poise, your control, your focus. As we are now down to 2:30 remaining. So in FHSAA, Florida High School Athletic Association.
Elevator door out of Mount Dora right there. Didn't work. They went the other way with it, by the way, Neil.
Just to clarify, if you're new, 35 points in the second half, that initiates the running clock.
Running clock.
So just for future use, if you're not aware of that. One more game remaining, as we talked about. Timber Creek will take on Lake Brantley.
Be a good one. Be a good one. All right. Going through iframe. I want to see this kid. See him develop a little bit. He's got a big frame on him. 6'6", long. He's pretty raw. This Boone coaching staff is going to get him together with some good individual development and work on a big guy. But he's a little disappointed himself. He's hanging his head. He's got to get through that and get in a stance on the other end and guard and rebound. He might be a little hurt. Here he is in transition. They're
Again,
cheering for. Get up there. Oh, he's got to go
again,
strong.
that's one
Run
of
back
those.
there, the young man. Let's go.
That's one of those learning how to be an athlete, put what just happened behind you and move forward.
Boone in that zone. They're going in the game in that zone with this team on the floor. Coaches, Coach Martins is probably what I say affectionately a man-to-man snob. He's probably can't watch it not played well, so he's going to put him in a zone at the end of the game.
Mount Dora with the transition. Nice looking end there. Nice pass to set it up.
And this is kind of last 35 seconds, Neil. It's been a pleasure working this game with you. We'll see what happens this next tilt.
Drop under 30 seconds now. Boone's going to probably just run out the clock here.
High post flash there from Boone's 22.
Oh, they're going to take one last shot. Massey getting that shot in.
Massey wanted to try to get one more line on the
So
stat
Massey
sheet there.
will finish with 12 points. Bryce Deas with 11. 23 points between the two. They set the pace. And a 2-2 is beginning to the game, followed by an 8-0 run by Boone. And that was all she wrote, as she said. And as we said, it'll be a learning experience for the young Mount Dora High School Hurricanes. Moving forward, gaining some experience. For Boone, it'll be gaining some experience in terms of taking that next step, looking to climb above 500 and return to the playoffs under Coach Morrison. So we got one more piece of business to take care of, and that is the Earl Graham Most Valuable Player plaque. And that's what Mark will take care of now. Quick reminder, in about 15 minutes, last game of day one, Timber Creek versus Lake Brantley.
Braves and Hurricane athletes, and now, if you'll park us for just a moment, we've got some hardware to hand out. Thank you, Coach Bond. You're back with me now. And we ask you to turn your attention to center court for the presentation of the Earl Graham Most Valuable Player Award. Throughout his life and coaching career, Coach Graham inspired thousands of players to love the game and become better men. While he could never be truly replaced, we honor his legacy by playing on in his name. It is in that spirit our annual celebration of Central Florida basketball will forever bear his name. And the winner of the Most Valuable Player for Game 6, leading his team with 12 points, it's number 3, Makauri Massey. That'll do it for Game 6. We now move on to our 7th and final game of Day 1 here at the Earl Graham Metro versus Florida Challenge. For those of you who are watching us online, we want to remind you that every game is its own live stream. And so if you are planning on staying with us for Game 7, which we very much hope you will, that you will find that at a different live stream. So make sure you exit out of this one and join us at the next one. And we appreciate you sticking with us for part of your Thanksgiving week. We'll see you in a few minutes.